Hi there, I'm Jodi. This is my Stamp with Jodi YouTube channel. Welcome to the Great North American Stampin' Show. We are currently in season 5, and tonight we're about to bring you episode 3. Before we talk about the new stuff, let's talk about last week and episode 2. Thanks to all of you who watched and voted. I won episode 2, and so this week I get to celebrate by wearing my very special Burger King crown. A couple seasons ago, my husband stopped and picked this up at our local Burger King, and every time I win, I just add some gems and make it even more special. So if you're not familiar with the Great North American Stampin' Show, this is a friendly stamping competition between 4 of us friends. We choose like a theme or layout for each week, and we just kind of run with it and share our creative ideas with all of you. You, in turn, get to cast your vote to see who wins that episode. We each have a different crown. I'm pretty sure nobody else has a Burger King crown. But and then we celebrate by wearing our crown. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy 1 hour of creative inspiration. All right, so today I've got a stunning quick and creative card to share with you, but I wanted to do a quick recap first. So season 5, episode 1, we used the florals and bloom layouts, and I chose this one, and I used Silly Safari. So you can see the double focal point over here, some designer paper layers, and greeting. Then for episode 2, we did Turtley Cute, and I chose the layout right there on the bottom with the 3 squares. I used Silly Safari again to make this card. And then this time, we are using Beautiful Gallery. If you're in your catalog, it's pages 52 and 53, and actually the next couple of pages too, or you can look online in the suites and see Beautiful Gallery. Now, instead, well, I'm not using Silly Safari again, so I'm gonna break out of that little comfort zone. I did love that one though. I mean, look at these cards. They're just adorable. So if you haven't seen episodes 1 and 2, make sure you go back and watch those. But today I decided for the Beautiful Gallery layouts, I was actually going to use the stamp sets that come in this suite. So Gallery Blooms and Beautiful Motifs. So these are both from this product suite, and I'm using the stamps. So what I'm doing differently though is you can see the color scheme here: Peach Pie, Mossy Meadow, Lost Lagoon, Secret Sea, Crumb Cake, Basic Beige. I'm not using that color scheme at all. In fact, I am using Petunia Pop and Summer Splash. So quite a different color scheme than what they've got here. Now, there's a lot of options on what to duplicate on these pages. There's a lot of great projects. I chose this one right here. It actually jumped out at me as soon as I opened up to these pages. I'm like, that's the one I'm doing. So what do I notice here? I noticed some black and white. This is actually some designer paper in the back. It looks like there's a little bit of sponging along the bottom, just some really light petal pink color. There's a frame there, and then the big floral piece as a focal point with a greeting. There's some embellishments added. So that is my inspiration for the card that I'm going to share with you now. Okay, let's see, where do I want to start? I am going to start with this piece of basic white cardstock. I'm pulling in my Secret Sea ink pad and then that giant floral image. So what I'm going to do is ink up that big floral image with Secret Sea, and I'm going to stamp around the outside of this piece. So again, pulling back the sample, they use designer paper here. I'm not using that designer paper. I'm kind of creating that look just simply from the stamp itself. So it's just going to be a collage background here, and it's okay if it overlaps or looks a little goofy because we're going to be putting other layers on there, so you won't see that, okay? So this is just that basic background that you see there. All right, easy enough. Now, let's see. I'm going to pull in a piece. This is thick basic white. So it's got just a little heavier weight than the regular basic white. And I want to use that because I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, my alcohol markers. And I want to make sure as I get ink on me. I want to make sure that I always use the thick basic white when I'm coloring with the alcohol markers. So I'll stamp this down and then we'll start coloring. Now, as I said, I chose Petunia Pop and Summer Splash. And I just want to, I'm using the light and dark shade for each of them. Each Stampin' Blend has a bullet point end and a brush end. So the thin line right here is the bullet point end, and the thicker line is the brush end. I'm gonna start with the light shade brush end. So when I'm coloring, I just want to not quite go to the line. The alcohol markers kind of naturally bleed out just a tiny bit. And so I want to just keep it like just inside the line. Now I did bring my color lifter out. I don't know if you'll get to see that or not. If I go outside the lines, I'll show you how that little tool works. And let's be honest, there's a decent chance I'm gonna get to show you that, because sometimes I just get going and then I go a little too fast. Okay, so you get the idea here. I'm just covering the whole area with the light Stampin' Blend. And then I'm gonna go back with the dark blend and just kind of hit, you can see in the design of the stamp, there's some lines in here. And I'm just gonna go over those lines in some of the areas with the darker Stampin' Blend just to give it a little bit of depth and texture. Now, I'm sure there are people with much more artistic training or ability than I have that could like, oh, your light is coming from this direction, do your shadows here. I pretend. So I just kind of, my goal is just to get some variation in the color, just to give it a little depth. Now I did go out a teeny tiny bit there. There's a chance I'll go out more somewhere else. This is the color lifter, and I just kind of go over it and kind of push it back in its spot. All right, and then I'll just continue coloring the other flowers. And then go back with the dark shade again and just give it some depth, some random depth. And the one thing you'll want to make sure when you're using Stampin' Blends, because they are alcohol marker, if your cap is not on tight, it will unfortunately dry out. So it's important to make sure that you hear when you put your cap back on. Now, I normally would grab like some type of green to do the leaf because most leaves are green. I decided to go a little bit crazy for me and do Summer Splash. It's a vibrant look for sure, but for some reason, I just really liked it and it works well for this card. So this is the light Summer Splash that I am doing for these leaves. And then I'll go back and just add a little bit of the dark Summer Splash in various spots. Again, just to give it a little bit of depth. Okay. Now this, oh, what was the name of that stamp set again? Gallery Blooms. This comes with some dies. And so I can lay this die right over my stamped and colored image, crank that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and get this beautifully die cut colored piece. I am just so excited to show you this entire card. I just think it is, it's different from my usual style. It's definitely still that quick and creative look, but I don't know if it's just the colors or what it is, but I'm really excited about it. What do I want to do next? So another die that comes with those stamps is this one here, and it looks like two rectangles. In fact, when you set the cardstock on it, it cuts 3 because it cuts that center out as well. So when you use this die, you actually get these 3 pieces. I'm going to use the middle piece, and this is Secret C, so the same color as the ink I was using. And then I cut just a piece of basic white, just a little bit smaller than this, so that I can take my adhesive and just place some adhesive on here and then add it to that basic white layer. And that's going to just give me, you know, if I added the frame just over here, you'd still see all those flowers in the background. So I'm just gonna place it on there. It doesn't matter that it's not perfectly centered because all that matters is that I see white through it right here. So now when I put this on here, now it's resembling this card a little bit more. This is a lot. Like this is very busy. This is a lot. So when we add this over it and then our focal point, like you see here, okay, that kind of tones that down just a little bit, and that's exactly what we want. So I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals right here and put some on the back of this flower. And you can see when I flip it over why it's so important to use that thicker cardstock, because that alcohol marker, the color goes right through, and so you just need it to be a little bit sturdier. Okay, so I've got this, and I'm going to attach it to the frame. To right about here. I want it to go up above the white part a little bit, and then to have the stem extend down just a little bit there. Isn't that so pretty? I love this color combination of Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, and Secret C. It's super fun. Okay, now I've got a little tiny piece of basic white, and I'm gonna pull in my Secret C one more time in the word celebrate, and just stamp that down like that. And then I'm just going to cut it at a little bit of an angle, just like that. Again, just to give it a little interest instead of a straight cut. And then I'm going to take my regular adhesive behind this part over on the right, and I'm going to take a Stampin' Dimensional and put it over here on the left. And then when I add this to the card, the way it's going to fall on here, because remember this is already raised, so if I add that over here, that will raise it up to make it level, and then this can just sit flat on top of the flower. It's coming together. Isn't it so pretty? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. What else do we need to do? I'm going to pull in what I'm using. I decided my first iteration of this, I did a full card base. Let me fold this and then I'll kind of show you. Bone folder. So I took a piece this big and did this background stamping and set this on it, and it was just too much, just too busy in the background. It pulled away too much from the focal point. So that's when I decided to just trim it down. So like on the sample, this is the full card. It's just a little bit of a different shaped card. But for mine, I wanted to maintain that background, but I needed it to just not be quite so busy. So I am layering this on a piece of thick basic white that I'm using as the card base, okay? So we'll get that layered. I do want to add some flat pearls. Now these flat pearls come in last year's in colors, which Petunia Pop and Summer Splash are part of. These are also available in the newest in colors. So we've got these flat pearls with lots of variety, and I love them. Super easy to work with. They're flat. They don't add too much bulk to your cards, which is great. Okay, so do you see how that's all coming together? So fun, so fun. Okay, now I'm going to add this piece to the card also with Stampin' Dimensionals. So it's going to be raised up, that flower was raised up, and this focal point is going to be raised up. So that's a lot. But with the pearls being flat, I don't think it adds too much bulk to the card at all. So this is almost ready to be finished up here. If I lay that right across there, very pretty, isn't it? But there's one thing I need to do that is going to push this over the top. This is going to be the thing that you're like, wow, that made a difference. This gets my thumbs up vote for this week. Okay, take a look. Very pretty. But watch what we're going to do next. We're going to take this piece and we're going to take a blending brush and Petunia Pop ink. Scoot some stuff over here and make some room. I'm going to tap the blending brush on the ink pad. I'm going to start off the base of the cardstock a little bit and just blend the ink up. So start down here and blend up. So it's getting lighter. It has that like ombre effect. The higher it goes, the lighter it gets. So we're going to have much more obvious color on the bottom and then just the faintest little hint of Petunia Pop at the top. What do you think? Now, when we set that on the card base, I can attach that with my adhesive. Now when we set this on here, it gives it some contrast. So there's contrast between this stamped and sponged layer and that basic white card base. And then we add the gorgeous focal point. I just think this card is stunning. But it's still quick and creative. It's still very duplicatable. Even though I took the time to color that in, it's really not very time consuming with Stampin' Blends to do the coloring. And that sponging just adds the right look there to give it some contrast. Now there is an image that comes in the stamp set. The Beautiful Motifs? Yes, Beautiful Motifs is where I got the Celebrate from. And we have a wedding to go to in August. Our neighbor, their son is getting married. And so I'm going to use this as a wedding card. Celebrate, wishing you love and happiness that lasts a lifetime. I'm also going to go back and take this flower one more time. And let's see, I'm just going to make it go right there on the side. To tie it all together. You know what I could do? I could get kind of crazy and like sponge just a little bit of the purple ink behind it too. Ooh, I like that. That was just a little spontaneous decision. It's very faint, but it's there. I like it a lot. All right, this is my quick and creative card for you for episode 3 of the Great North American Stampin' Show. I hope you love it, and I hope it earns your thumbs up vote. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.